What up, YouTube? It's your boy Detroit Love with another video. Today I'm going to answer or attempt to answer a question of one of my subscribers, and he asked simply this: Detroit Love, what is your favorite cabinet that you have in your game room? And that's a very difficult question to answer because obviously I don't just love one particular game, because if I just love, say, Galaga, I would have purchased Galaga and wouldn't have the need to buy anything else, right? If I just love one cabinet, then I wouldn't have a need to buy more than one cabinet. So obviously I like a lot of different games and a lot of different cabinets. But let me just try to answer that and sort of give you a backstage look at my game room, my thought process, and how I determine which cabinets to purchase. Let's get it started. So as we look at my game room, we'll go back in time and start at the beginning. My first cabinet, like a lot of people, was the Street Fighter cabinet. We all saw ETA Prime's video and got excited about the prospect of having not just our own arcade machine in our home, but our own arcade machine in our home that has multiple games, hundreds and thousands of games. And so I modified this, and I have built probably a dozen, maybe 15 of these cabinets for other people over the last 2 years or so. And I haven't seen one of these cabinets available any longer at any of the stores or online. So it's safe to say that these are no longer available, but I'm sure there's some out there in the wild. But Arcade 1-Up is starting to reissue their cabinets. But if we look at this cabinet, this is the only cabinet I put the LED lights on, buttons, the LED buttons on, and I don't regret that decision. I like the way it looks. Now that if we go back in time, this cabinet did not come with a backlit marquee. Arcade 1-Up was just into the game, and they didn't really understand what we needed, what we wanted. And so I was in that first batch of guys that put on their own marquees. I'll step back here just a little bit further, and you can see I have Tulsa Arcade's front lit riser board, and that looks really nice. But my best thing is I have a coin door on there. It's a double coin door, and so you can put in quarters for all of the games. So to me, that is the most authentic arcade machine here. It's my first arcade machine. So being first, like your firstborn or your first job or your first love, it's going to have a special spot in your life, no doubt. It's the first. I would not have any of these things if not for the first, right? So I like this, but this game, as you can see, I had Joust up here and I was playing that. It's a two-player cabinet, and a lot of the games are two-player that I have highlighted, but there's a lot of the games that I really enjoy playing. So is it my favorite? I would say not, because it's not enough horizontal or landscape games that I just truly enjoy playing. I enjoy playing when someone's over, and that's so I'm playing against two people. That's where that cabinet shines. So when I'm having people over, whether it's one person or multiple people, this cabinet is one of the most played because you can play two player, and the competitiveness comes out with everyone when you get these games and walk up to these cabinets. So from that standpoint, it is probably the most played when there's multiple people at the house. So let's take a look at my second cabinet. Now, the Galaga cabinet. Galaga is one of the games that I definitely play a whole lot of growing up. Galaga, I loved Galaga. In today's, say hindsight is 2020. Galaga was great because that's all it was, right? And now I actually prefer the faster play Galaga than the original Galaga. So buying this cabinet for Galaga, not necessarily the best thing for me because I definitely prefer fast Galaga, not the traditional slower one where you have to mash the button so much. I like the auto fire function of it. But by far, at the time, Galaga was the cabinet I had to have. It has the coin door on it as well. You can see the red light there at the bottom. But you see what game is on here. Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, when I start talking about favorites, it's just so many. But Donkey Kong, by far, is the game that if I walk down here and wanted to play for 1 minute, 1 hour, well, no matter what the time frame is, I can sit there and play Donkey Kong, enjoy it. And I'll do Donkey Kong Jr. and all that, but the OG Donkey Kong, that's I gotta say, I have to say, and it's tough to say, that Donkey Kong is my favorite game. If Nintendo would take his head out of his butt and recognized and acknowledged and made available what his customers wanted, they could sell 1 billion Donkey Kong cabinets. And definitely if it's 3/4 scale like this at a decent price, no doubt. I can say that without hesitation. People love some Donkey Kong, and that cabinet is just an awesome looking cabinet. So I would have to say Donkey Kong is my most favorite game to play. Though I enjoy playing a whole bunch of games. Obviously, the Pac-Mans and Miss Pac-Mans are among my favorites. It's like I was talking about that first cabinet. It's my first cabinet, so it has that special spot. Those OG games have a special spot. But on the same token, games like Galaxian, once Galaga came, it was just hard for me to go with Galaxian. Likewise with Space Invaders. It's tough for me to go back to a Space Invader when there's so many better games that are available. And this OG from the beginning status just doesn't carry as much weight for me as it does with other people. But I absolutely love, if I had to pick between Street Fighter and Galaga, this Galaga cabinet would be my favorite cabinet between those two, simply because the majority of the games that I really enjoy playing are vertical games. And while technically both of these cabinets have this same exact image on it, and so therefore the same exact games, I detest playing horizontal or landscape games on this portrait or vertical cabinet. And likewise, I don't want to play vertical games on my landscape or horizontal cabinet. I like to play vertical games on here and horizontal games on the other. And so those are my first two. And with those two, I can play every vertical game here, and over there, every horizontal game. So why even a need to buy anything else, right? Because I can play every vertical, every horizontal. End of story, right? But obviously, it wasn't the end of the story. Let's talk about NBA Jam. We can pretty much rule out NBA Jam. NBA Jam is an awesome looking cabinet. Is a iconic, and a very fun game to play. I put on Tulsa arcade, the Tulsa arcade riser front plate as well, and that looks nice. It comes with the bent, with the stool, with the custom riser, backlit marquee. And so I neglected to say, as you can see with Galaga, I put the backlit marquee on there as well, where it didn't come with it. But NBA Jam, we can rule it out simply as my favorite cabinet because, one, I didn't play NBA Jam at the arcades as much. I was probably in college and I had my first son and all this stuff, so I was busy with life, and I didn't really play it. So I don't have that same feel as I have with the Galaga machine. It's the nostalgic value is not as high, but it's a fun game. But I bought that for my grandsons over in Canada, and with the border being shut down due to COVID-19, I haven't been able to get it to them. So we can just bypass that cool looking, fun cabinet simply because it's not for me, it's not mine, right? And so we'll swing over here to Golden Tee. Golden Tee is a game I didn't play a whole lot growing up, but I love golf. I've had to have played every wacky, crazy golf game that was ever playable on a computer or any console, and I think it's a favorite game of mine. Not necessarily from an arcade standpoint, because definitely Golden Tee at the bar and stuff like that. I've never really gotten to that. Golden Tee still creates cabinets to date for their probably 2021 line for thousands of dollars. It's a hot commodity. People love it at every age. So it's a pretty cool game, even though these are the older cabinets. So Golden Tee is a fun cabinet. I love playing it. It's isn't my favorite. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I enjoy playing. I'll come down here, play a hole 9, sometimes a hole 18. Sometimes I'll just play a couple of holes and then move on. But it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Just being a golfer, always been a fan of Golden Tee. I was very disappointed that that Arcade One Up has not been able to do the Golden Tee and the Silver Strike combo. That would be an awesome cabinet. Well, I hope they could figure out that licensing deal and make that happen, because that would be cool. Golden Tee was the Arcade One Up's first cabinet with the backlit marquee. So that was my first cabinet where I didn't have to put in my own backlit marquee. So that was pretty cool. It was also their first stab at a customized riser in a bundle. It didn't come with the stool, even though I have the stool. It's kind of hard to see there in the dark. But I do have the stool, which I was able to pick up from Walmart. But it's a very fun cabinet. I definitely enjoy it. Golden Tee is classic. People love it even today and spend thousands of dollars to have it in their own home. and play and spend all kinds of money at the bars to play. Though one of my favorite bars, I'm just going to simply call it the Spot. That's the spot where my buddies go and we have our drinks and hang out. Now, with COVID going on, no one's touching that game now, but I still don't see a whole lot of people at that particular spot playing the game, but I know they do play it. So Golden Tee, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I enjoy playing it immensely. And while we're still sticking with cabinets, there's a new kid in town. This is a new kid in town, Legends Ultimate. And to date, there's no way I can put this on my favorite list, not even a contender, not even in the conversation yet, because quite frankly, I just haven't had much time to, or taken the time to go beyond the basics of this cabinet. The basics of this cabinet is not fun for me because none of the games that comes with it is really, let me take that back. Had I not had all these other cabinets and other ways to play these games that they have on here, then I would love a lot of these games. Centipede, Millipede, Burger Time, Asteroids. I like these games. Tron. I like these games. Love to play them. But I have other ways to play them. And I skipped past this, so let me go back here. I added my own trackball. See if we can get in here so you can see it. Okay, there we go. So I added my own trackball on here. Is it the best thing? Does it compare to other things on the market? No, but it's functional. Will I be able to play golf? No, because my hand would slam into this wall. But it's perfect for a Centipede and Millipede and those side-to-side scrolling games. So, this is vertical. Centipede's vertical. Millipede's vertical. A lot of those games are vertical. So it makes sense for this trackball to be on this cabinet. I put it here just because that speaker grill was already there. I kind of sort of centered there. But ideally, that ball really should have been here with enough space to do it. It should have been right about here. And it would have been a lot more functional for all of the games. But it works for the vertical games that I play it with, and I absolutely love it. So that's makes this cabinet, because my favorite game's there, and my favorite genre, which is vertical games. Okay, but back to this guy. So if I didn't have all these other ways to play these games, there's no doubt that this would be the front runner for being my favorite. It's got this big, huge screen. It's got the spinners. It's got the trackball. It's got 2-player setup. What is there to say, right? But I do have other ways to play. Now, if this cabinet had Golden Tee on there with that big screen, right? If it looked nice and filled out the screen, if I had the fighter games, the Street Fighters and the Mortal Kombats and those type of games on this wider screen with the 2-player setup, absolutely. When people came over, they would be playing this and not that, right? Got more room, you got more viewing area. So this has so much potential, and it has the capabilities to do so much more. I just hadn't gotten there. If only I knew 2 guys that really, really was into this Legends Ultimate, that maybe I could sit on a panel with them, or maybe a podcast with these guys. If only I knew two guys that really knew more about this than I do and could share that knowledge with me. Yeah, of course they made videos. Uh, One's got hundreds of videos probably on it, but I ain't got time to be watching all these videos. Come on. So the point I'm making, this has a whole lot of potential to be my favorite if I can get past that. And being a teacher of modding and an explainer and giving people the layman's view on things, I know, because that's the reason why I make these videos. I know can be crippling when you just don't know and don't understand. You can fail to take action and move because it's just the anxiety of maybe messing up your cabinet or doing something wrong. You just won't make that move to modding it or doing something that's outside of just turning this thing on playing. So I understand that from your perspective, and I have that same type of thing here. Is beyond my current understanding, not beyond my capability of understanding and acting and making it happen. I just haven't put the legwork, the footwork, the time, the resources into understanding it. Once I do, I'm probably going to never shut up about it. But so I can't say it's my favorite because out of the box, I have ways to play every game that I like playing on this cabinet or would like playing on this cabinet. So that's just what keeps it from being a special cabinet for me in my current space. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, the Legends probably could have been the elephant because it's the biggest. But this pinball cabinet it started off as a Toy Shock, a digital pinball machine with 12 Gottlieb tables that was fun to play. But I didn't buy it to play those 12 games. I bought this cabinet because I had been looking into virtual pinball and the costs were just ridiculous. The skill set required to build your own cabinet was, whoa, you talk about anxiety, right? Going outside your comfort zone. You see what all the mods I do when it comes to drilling a hole or cutting something, it's going to be far from perfect. Even this cabinet here, the back glass is the only thing I really had to cut, and it's far from perfect. So the ideal of doing the whole cabinet and not just the back glass here would be crazy. And this cabinet would be lopsided and wouldn't be square, and it would I wouldn't measure 3 times and cut once. I would cut once and then go back and measure. So the ideal of creating a cabinet by itself from scratch is just beyond my comfort zone to even fathom. There's options to buy, pre-fabbed cabinets, pinball tables or cabinets that you can just put together and then put your components in it, and there's some larger choices. But again, those things get priced as well. So when Toy Shop came out with this for $400, $399, there was no delaying. I pre-ordered, and I seldom ever pre-order anything. I don't have to be the first to own anything. It's very rare. I don't need to be the first to do a lot of things. But I bought this with the purpose of modifying it. So I bought it. I pre-ordered it November of 2019. It came in December of 2019. This was totally up and running by, I think, February of 2019 or 2020. So it didn't take very long. The biggest challenge out the gate was getting a video card that will allow me to use the pre-existing video monitor for the play field. But I had been working with a Chinese company for a whole year with all the video cards needed for these Street Fighter cabinets. And so I had a contact that I contacted immediately, gave them the specs. They got it out to me, and so in no time flat. So I was able to discover that, make it available for other people, and get my cabinet modified pretty quickly. And Funhouse was one of the first games that I downloaded and was playing even before it was in the cabinet. So starting with, if you're interested in doing a digital pinball machine, whether you buy a arcade one-up cabinet or buy a At Games Legends pinball cabinet, or you buy a well-played cabinet, we don't know much about that one, or you buy the newer Toy Shop cabinet, here's the bottom line with pinball. The pinball is extremely fun. It is a lot of fun to play, and this has gotten the most play of all these cabinets since I built it back in February. We'll just say February. Now, my Galaga machine was jacked up. Something happened with the image, and so I hadn't been playing that because it was jacked up. The sound was messed up, and then I put a different image on, and it was horrible, and I didn't have a backup. I have a backup of the Street Fighter because I've done 12 to 15 of those cabinets. So I have a backup of that, but I thought I had a backup of Galaga, but I didn't. For some reason, I did not have a backup, and when it jacked up, I was in trouble. So I just got that up back playable just yesterday. Last night I was up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning getting that resolved, and it's still not finished, but it's playable. But the point, I am saying that this cabinet, this pinball, has been tons of fun, and I've been playing it like crazy. Got nearly 300, I think it's like 297 pinball tables on here of all different, from all different makers, manufacturers, time frames, style of play. I love it. So, and what I was saying, whatever cabinet that you buy from any of these companies, and I'm glad there's multiple companies to give us choices and options, I suspect that a lot of you are going to want to modify it and put your own equipment into it, and go beyond those list of games that they have for you. If you can get over that comfort level, right? Because you got to learn this stuff, and you know what I mean. So it's not easy, but it's rewarding once you get over that. But just like this was fun with 12 games initially, the arcade one-up game is going to be fun with 10, whichever 10 you purchase. The well played is going to be fun. The At Games Legends Pinball is going to be fun. They're all going to be fun, but it just comes down to, is the game list that's available going to be enough for you? Obviously, the more games that you have, the more, the more you have to choose from to find your favorite. Because my favorite could be a game you don't like, and that's the challenge when you have 10, even 20 tables. If you don't enjoy playing any of those 10 or any of those 20, then the cabinet's not really worth it, right? And you don't really know which games you really prefer to play. Some people like to play the old school with the bells and chimes and things like that. That's not for me. Though I can find one or two that I don't mind playing. But for me, the most modern, and I won't say the most modern because the Far Side or Zen Studios, with their Marvel cabinet, those have the most modern type of pinball, but that type of pinball is just not my cup of tea. I can take it on in small doses, like the Attack from Mars from Zen Studios. I love that game. Is closer in Gone Fishing. Is they're closer to the originals more so than those totally recreated, totally created tables like the marble, most of the marble. So the point I'm making is you are going to determine with your likes and your dislikes which of these tables are for you. The beauty of this table here is I can play all of the VP9, the future tables, the stream tables, so the Zen and all these things, Zakaria. I can play all the tables on this one machine. So if you go into that rabbit hole with wanting to modify it and getting to this point, because I hadn't even scratched the surface of what this thing could do. You have to think about which cabinet you're buying, because really the cabinet is going to just house your new PC, or even like this was probably a 10-year-old PC I put in here. Works perfectly for this purpose, so you don't have to buy all brand new stuff. I did have to upgrade the memory. Not the memory, but the graphics card and the power supply, because the old one wasn't powerful enough for that new graphics card. But by far, this has been the most played cabinet, the most played. So I would say Galaga, the vertical cabinet, remains to be my favorite cabinet. My favorite cabinet. Golden Tee remains to be a very fun table or cabinet to play. But this cabinet here is the most played, the most enjoyable, the most I don't know what to say. It's a new feeling because I never played pinball that much. I always liked pinball, but I just didn't play it. I never had the time and resources to learn it. Now, some of these tables are very frustrating, no doubt. Just like you can find frustrating games on all these cabinets. Some games are extremely fun to play. And so if someone gave you 10 tables, realistically, you're probably not going to play all 10 of those tables real regularly. You're going to really enjoy probably 2 to 3 of those tables. Two to 3 out of 10, you're going to really, really enjoy over those 10. To get to 10 tables that you absolutely love to play and can walk up on any day at any time and play, the reality is you're going to need a bunch of tables to be able to pick from those top 10 tables that you really, really enjoy playing. It's one thing to say, I like the game and it's okay and I'll play it because there's no other options to play. There's no other tables. There's very limited tables to play. That's one thing compared to I really, really enjoy playing this game. I really, really enjoy walking up to this cabinet, and I don't care what I'm doing, whether I'm happy, sad, glad, or mad. I can come and just get lost into this game and really enjoy my life, my time at that point in time. So the more tables in my book, if you're picking a cabinet, a pinball cabinet, you want to pick a cabinet that has the most tables available to allow you to find your 10 that you really like to play. And the beauty of it is, none of those cabinets really matter if you're going to just mod it and put your own PC in it, because then you can have hundreds, thousands of tables available. Where the built-in tables are significant is if you're not going to mod it, if you're not going to change anything, you want to have more choices to determine what you like. If you're going to mod it, it doesn't matter. If you're going to mod it, then it really comes down to quality of the cabinet, size of the cabinet, because this cabinet was very challenging to get everything inside. I'm not a fan of having a PC under here. I'm not a fan of any of these cabinets booting up and looking like it's a computer inside. I like for them to boot up, and even though I know they're not real authentic machines, I like for them to appear as close to authentic as possible. So I like that, my Galaga machine boots up and I don't have to see any Pi screens or emulation stations, that my Street Fighter boots up and it doesn't appear to be something I modified. It appears to be built that way, and that's important to me. So if you're going to mod it, you want to make sure you have a cabinet that can put everything that you want to put into it. And if you don't know, that's the beauty of YouTube and Facebook groups and all these different resources. You have tons of people that have a passion for this, whether it's modifying one of your cabinets. Some people may want to put a coin door in their unmodified arcade one-up cabinet. They may want to put a coin door in their Legends Ultimate cabinet, or put a coin door on their pinball cabinets. There's a lot of potential to mod, and there's a lot of people out here with a lot of knowledge to teach you. So that's it. I would say my favorite is still my vertical cabinet. My most played cabinet is this pinball. And if I come down here at any given time, those are the two cabinets I'm going to go to. And for the last nearly a year, this pinball has gotten the lion's share of my time. You didn't possibly think I would be ending this video without a mention of the man, the myth, the legend, Pac-Man. Pac-Man was the game that got me started loving arcades. Prior to that, those other games just was a pastime, something to do, but Pac-Man made it exciting, fun, something to look forward to. That sound right there is iconic. It means a whole lot to me. Pac-Man is the man, and he is not alone. Miss Pac-Man, she came out, did it bigger. She did it better. And we know better is better. She did it better. That sound there brings back so many memories as well. So these two couldn't be considered one of my best cabinets from the full, the three-quarter scale size, because I didn't get the three-quarter scale size. And I pretty much would love to have had the full-size Miss Pac-Man, but I went a different route. And since I already have this guy or this gal, this counter cave in my collection, I won't get the big one. So I won't have the big one of this neither. But they are essential parts of my collection, and I like the portability of these two, and I definitely like being able to play these and take this with me. So from that standpoint, are these more valuable than the others because they have the flexibility to be taken everywhere I go? It's pretty cool stuff. Also, let's not forget the newest portable player collection on my collection. And this little gaming watch is pretty darn cool. The fact that you can put it on unlimited lives and just it automatically pauses. It doesn't drain the battery when you're not using it. It's just available and ready. As soon as you turn that thing on, it's instantly on. You hit the button and you instantly playing. I mean, this thing is pretty sweet. So those cabinets definitely have some significant, points. I mean, they probably get more face time. They right here on my setup, right? And so they're right in my face, able to be played when I need them to be played, taken with me when I need to go. So these guys are some pretty awesome games. I can't say I like the fast Pac-Man. I like the old school Pac-Man, and I like the old school Miss Pac-Man. I don't need the speed ups. But so let's not think these guys would not have been strong contenders for favorite cabinet had they been large like the other ones and included in that bunch. But let's just not. I didn't want you to go away thinking they were not part of the conversation. And so that's it. So what do you guys like? What is your favorite cabinet? Whether it's something that you have or want to get. What is your favorite cabinet that you have? What is the favorite cabinet that you would like to have? Are you interested in pinball? If so, what's important to you? What games do you think you're going to like? Let me know in the comments. And guys, please, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. I can't even explain how important it is for my channel to get the recognition. People comment daily and say, hey, thanks for getting me on track and get my arcade configured the way I want it and so I can enjoy it. But the mass majority of you come and watch, but you're not subscribers. And it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for anything other than you just to click a little button on your screen, and it doesn't cost you anything, but it's huge for this channel and for me getting this content out to you. So I appreciate you clicking that now if you hadn't done so. Like the video, share the video. Until next time, I'll see you on the web.